So last year he hadn't been doing hunters very long, so we started doing hunters at the beginning of the year. So this is kind of early in his hunter career. Came here, won Derby finals, and he's been wonderful. Every time we called on him, he absolutely exceeds our expectations. But to come in tonight, I'm so confident in him, and I knew he was going to try the hardest. I honestly tried not to make a mistake and let him do his thing, and he just tries so hard. He's a wonderful horse. I'm so lucky to have him. Obviously, the wheelers that own him and the whole team behind him is unbelievable.
Welcome to the Practical Horseman podcast, featuring conversations with respected riders, industry leaders, and horse care experts. The show is co-hosted by Practical Horseman editors, and our goal is to inform, educate, and inspire. I'm Sandy Olenek. This week's episode is a little different from our typical podcast. We are sharing our press conference audio from the Platinum Performance U.S. Hunter Jumper Association International Hunter Derby Championship, held August 19th and 20th this year. To give you some background on the Derby Championship, the riders have to qualify for the competition, which is held at the Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington. The championship consists of 2 rounds. The first round, called the Classic Round, is over a more typical hunter course and held on one day, a Friday. This year, 69 horse and rider combinations competed in that round. The second round, called the Handy Round, is on Saturday. This course has tighter turns and other options. For example, some years it had a trot fence. This year had a tricky bounce combination made up of tree branch rails with big stumps for standards. Riders could ride directly to the bounce from the previous fence or ride past it and make a right or left rollback turn to it. 41 pairs advanced to this year's Handy Round. During both the Classic and Handy Rounds, there are higher fence options that the riders can take to earn bonus points. So there is quite a bit of strategizing the riders do when planning their courses. Getting back to the podcast, the first part is the press conference after the Classic Round. During this part, you'll hear different journalists asking questions of the top 3 finishers of that class. In first place was Hunt Tosh, who rode the Wheeler family's 11-year-old Holsteiner gelding, Cannon Creek. Hunt Cannon had won last year's Derby Championship. Second place was John French, riding the 7-year-old Hanoverian gelding, Milagro, owned by Kent Barrington LLC. John had won the inaugural Hunter Derby Championship on Rumba in 2009. And in third place was Hannah Aesop, who rode Tracy Friel's 18-year-old Selle Francais gelding, Red Rider. So you'll hear all of these riders answering questions. The second part of the podcast is the press conference after the Handy Round. Hunt and Cannon Creek stayed on top to win the championship. Hannah and Red Rider moved up to second place, and Hunt, on his second horse, Seal Wheeler's 9-year-old warm-blood gelding, Autograph, moved up from 8th place to 3rd. Derby Championship newcomers Colin Sakia and Front Page placed 4th and were the leaders of the Tier 2 riders. You'll hear from these 3 in this part. John and Milagro had a lovely ride, but they had a hard rub at one fence, which moved them down to 8th. Finally, the podcast concludes with a few comments from Hunt in a brief interview I had with him right after the award ceremony. As I listened to this audio again, I found myself enjoying it just as much as when I'd been there in person, and thought you would too. It's sort of a sneak peek at what goes on behind the scenes at a top hunter competition. I think you can get a sense of the riders' personalities as they joke with each other and talk about their horses and course strategies. Unfortunately, you can hear a little background noise. You can still hear the riders pretty well, but when the journalists are asking questions, it sometimes is a little challenging to catch it all. But I think from the riders' answers, you'll get the context. Before getting into the podcast, I'd like to share a word from this episode's sponsor, Troxel. Over 2 years of research and development went into engineering the most ventilated helmet in the equine industry, the new Terrain. This next generation, lightweight, low-profile helmet is equipped with 12 extra-large vents that deliver unmatched airflow, and a newly developed front cage adds an extra level of impact resistance. The polycarbonate shell is co-molded to the EPS liner for the perfect combination of lightweight performance and strength. Innovations include a patented cooling and moisture wicking Cool Care liner treated with odor bursting fuse technology, a shatterproof replaceable visor, and a new micro-adjustable dial fit system. These features take the terrain helmet to the next level. For more information, visit www.troxelhelmets.com. Now, let's move right into the conversation where Hunt starts by talking about his strategy for riding the classic round on Cannon Creek.
Obviously, after winning last year, he's such a good horse, and I'm so lucky to have him. You want to go in and have a nice trip. He owes us nothing at this point, but I want to go in and have a nice solid trip, kind of guarantee we can go in tomorrow night. He went beautifully. I was so happy with him. Everyone kind of, the Whalers and Mandy told me not to make a bad mistake and try to jump the high jump and have it down. They're like, even if it's going well, I landed on the next to last jump and thought about it for a minute, and then I thought I better be safe because if I do that. But no, he went beautifully today. He's a blast to ride. He went fabulous.
And John, how does it feel to come back to the Derby? I know you were our first champion, and especially after the year that you've had, to be sitting in second place going into tomorrow night. How does that feel?
Well, actually, I'd rather be in second place than first place.
Not me.
But, this is a great venue. We have such wonderful memories of, showing Rumba here at that first Derby finals. He was a little more seasoned, the horse I have now. He's never come back here and done the finals. He started the year in the 3-3, one show, then moved to 3-6, and then moved to 4 foot. So he's just 7 years old, and I was really proud of him today to march around like that. And, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens tomorrow night.
And Hannah, you and Red Rider are Derby veterans. How does it feel to be sitting the top three?
This is a dream come true, sitting with these two right here. It's surreal. He's a little bit of an older horse, so I wanted to come in and have a good trip today.
You've done a couple of Derby finals before, and to be here in the top three.
This is, I believe, our fourth year.
We try to stick to the normal things. I do have on new pants. I bought new pants for last year. I did him last year. Cannon Creek did one high performance class. Went well, had a little rub, got an 88. Happened again this year. I did the first class, had a little rub, got an 88. I was like, okay, first stopping. So every day, every single thing, I drive myself crazy because I'm so superstitious. But certain things, obviously the little rocks I carry around everywhere. Maddie, when she was really young, would pick them up and tell me they were sparkly stone rocks, and they were really lucky. And she gave them to me. One was before Grand Cold Harbor at Harrisburg, I think. I can't remember, but I keep them all the time. I'm like, what if? What if I don't have them? So you got all sorts of crazy things. But it's getting a little obsessive now, but it's going to keep going.
And John, of course, is 7 years old. Can you sort of go behind the logic of taking such a green-ish horse to the next level?
He's just a very scopy horse, and the bigger jumps, the better with him. Obviously, he did some jumpers over in Europe. He's just that type of horse that doesn't need to stay in the lower jumps. He can, he can jump the bigger ones, and then you can ride harder at the fences, and then he jumps even higher.
And Hannah, you went to the big last Oxa, which I know a lot of people were a little scared of. Can you sort of tell us about your reasoning to go?
Well, it was a very competitive class. Everyone was really putting in great trips. It wasn't my plan when I walked to go to the high option, but he felt great, and he felt like he was jumping better and better as the class went on. And as I said, there's a lot of good horses and a lot of great riders in here, so I just decided to go all out.
Show us up.
Go all out.
Can you each talk about how you thought the course rode and then maybe what your strategy is without giving away any secrets going into tomorrow?
Oh boy.
I think it was really perfect. It was wonderful. I think Alan's course last year was perfect. I think this course is perfect. I'm just going to follow Alan around, I guess. No, it was nice. I think it was inviting. it kind of allowed some more experienced horses to go. So, it kind of suited a lot of horses. So I don't think it overfaced anybody. But the horses all jumped well, and it was really kind of a strong field this year. I think the horses went really well, and I think I saw very few major mistakes, but also the horses jumped, performed well over it. So I think he did a great job.
Yeah, I agree with him that the course didn't really overface anybody, and like my horse could come in there and not having done this or been in this ring, and he was very confident. And it's great to have that kind of round. I'm sure the handy's going to be a little bit different, and plus you've got to be handy. So it was a good way to start out the class.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was it rode well, and it was a nice class before tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So I think so much. Did anything about it surprise you?
No, Alan has great courses. It was obviously beautiful to look at. And he used enough scope, like you had the Oxford early on, third jump was a tall vertical. I saw a couple rubs there. But no, I think it rode inviting, but also you need a careful horse and scopy enough. But like I said, I think there's a lot of young horses in my autograph who went early on. This is his first Derby final, so I think it was inviting to, like John's horse, for those horses to go around, but also kind of the veterans that have done it. You need a scope, and you can show off, like the high jump, if you wanted to take that option, kind of show off your horse, you could make those decisions.
I think this year, to get into the second round, it seemed to me it took a pretty high score, higher than it has in the past.
And I think, the top Desert, it's a strong class for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So final preparations for tomorrow. What's your big, like Tori Cole never walked the course. What's your? You're gonna give it away, hun?
I'm not that brave.
I'm gonna keep my lucky socks on.
Exactly. Try to do the same thing. Yeah, exactly. I end up parking in the same place on my motorbike. There's a list. There's things I can't even think what I do. It's just like, it's like Groundhog Day. You have to follow everything the same way. So,
You have to stay in the same place.
Everybody, our whole group, exactly. Kenny Wheeler sits in the same spot. Maddie sits in the same spot. We all, my God, it's out of control. But we're not going to stop yet.
Now I know how to move this motorbike.
There you go.
So that's the end of the Derby Championship's first press conference. This next section is the press conference of the Handy Hunter round of the Derby. The press conference starts with Hunt, the overall Derby winner, talking about what it felt like to be a repeat champion.
It's fabulous. First of all, that horse deserves it. He's such a wonderful horse, and he's been so good all year. Come here, be able to win both rounds, it was special. He did it last year, and he truly deserves it because he tries so hard every time we show him.
And Hannah, that was a phenomenal ride. Moving up from third to second and beating out Hunt's other horse.
You made me work for it.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your round today and the relationship you have with your horse.
I really just wanted a good, clean trip and to have some fun with it, and I felt like we did that.
He's 18.
He's 18. I wanted a good one for him. I don't know, but I wanted it to be good this year.
Yeah. And Colin, congratulations. You're our Section B champion, but also fourth place amongst very great company here in our top Tier 2 rider. I think I added up the math, and I do words, not numbers, but I think I calculated around $26,000 just from this round alone that you're walking home.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the prize money that you're winning and what that means to kind of be sitting in such good company as a Tier 2 rider and still earning a significant paycheck.
Well, I think just being here is an honor, again, with these top riders, and they're great horses. This is my first Derby final. It's my horse's first Derby final, so it's just an incredible experience just watching them on the live streams before, being here, just being a spectator, and then to actually have a chance to go up against them. It's great. It's an honor. And it's a great program that we get all this money.
He's very modest. He's
He's been having a really good year on your list, so I'll open that up.
Can you maybe tell us about how you keep this horse so consistent and what Because I feel like it's a difficult thing to do to, keep them peaking at the right times and everything.
Really, I'm lucky. I can't say enough good things about that horse. We don't show him that much, but we were joking in the schooner, and I was lucky. Daniel Geithner actually drove back up for the night. He was here. He's been here every time I've won, and when I was winning yesterday, he surprised me. He was in Aiken. He drove back up tonight to be here and set jumps for me. But the horse, he tries so hard every time we show him. He's super careful, brave. He's kind of everything you look for in a hunter, and his balance is wonderful. But we show him sparingly, but he comes out. He's this phenomenal on his own. I can't say enough good things about him.
You said Daniel came back here, or you?
No, he actually was here this week, and he was home in Aiken, and he actually drove back up this afternoon to be here for the night, set jumps and be here because, like I said, you all know how superstitious I am. And once again, he was here when I showed Lone Star was in the schooling area with me. He was here last year in the schooling area with me, and he said he wasn't going to miss it again. So I have to give him some thanks for showing up and keeping all my weird superstitions alive.
But you didn't know he was coming.
I didn't know. I called him. We talk a couple times a day. Normally, I called him today. He didn't answer. I was kind of offended, and he showed up. But no, I guess I'm so lucky. I have the best owners anyone could ever ask for. Obviously, my daughter Maddie, KJ, the barn manager, my wife, Kate Stevenson, our vet, Jennifer Kimmelman, my chiropractor, Jenkins, my farrier. Everyone behind this horse roots for him and cheers him on. The guys in the barn. You couldn't ask for a better team and a better horse. It's so special.
There were all the people in the workshop. There was a lot of them.
A lot. Like I said, we have a big crowd. Wheelers, the whole gang, James, the Wheelers' good friend. They were lined up everywhere. Obviously, KJ, Maddie, my wife, everyone's out there. But like I said, yeah, the huge fan club and everyone plays part of it.
What did you all think of the course today?
It was a little tricky for me. It was a lot of left turns, which are harder for my horse, and it tends to get him to play a little bit, and it was a little trickier for me, but it worked out. But it was beautiful. I live for this class every year. It's, as Colin said, it is an honor to be here, and they really do a spectacular job with it. It's very special.
I personally think Alan and Danny build the best derby courses ever. It was a great course. I thought it was spectacular. Both days rode nice, inviting, but the horses jumped beautiful. And like I said, this year there were so many top quality rounds. And just trip after trip, they got better and better. It was great, I thought.
Yeah, and being a rookie, it was amazing to see what the course was like and what it asked you to do. And Hunt's right, it really showed the horses off in the end. When you walked it, I thought wow, how's this going to work? And then the quality just came out of these animals, and they just jumped their hearts out. And it was just all round after round, higher and higher scores. It was amazing, just amazing.
And how did you sort of try to get, what areas in the course did you try to change it up to get a higher score? What were the places where you could get a little bit easier?
Early on, we were watching, you try to watch and try to figure out kind of what the judges are looking for. They rewarded different things. It was kind of spread out a little bit, kind of for the handy points, the bonus points. Some people went around and galloped the last jump and got high scores. Some people went inside. You could go either direction, obviously, to the bounce, and there were different departures from that to the last jump. So, and obviously the other option jump over there. So you kind of had to pick out, I think, what suited your horse best, but also kind of what the judges were looking for. I was a little lower on autograph and went in. I tried to carry a little pace, try to do, take a couple risks to see if it would help out and improve the score. And they like kind of a boulder ride, a little galloping, stuff like that. So then I tried to follow that path with Cannon Creek, but not obviously take to the next level and make a mistake. But it was, the horses jumped great. And then in this ring and this venue, all the horses performed well. So, I think the horses truly won the class, but it was a great course as well.
You could have told us about how this horse is such a horse of a lifetime for you.
Well, he made me a hunter rider. It's been a long partnership, which is rare in this world. So I've been incredibly lucky to have such a partnership with him and such a relationship with him. And I always can go in that class and know he's going to jump his heart out. He might be a little happy doing it and a little playful, and that's an incredible feeling, knowing that he's going to give it his all.
Are you nervous going in? Get nervous?
I think, like I said, after winning last year, obviously you want to win again, but you try to keep your wits about you and do the best. But that, Canyon Creek gives you such confidence. Yes, I was nervous, but I probably less nervous than last year, I guess, because last year I didn't know what to expect in the lights. This year I knew he'd go in there and he was comfortable with it. But of course, yes, I get nervous all the time. So yes, for sure. For sure nervous.
Well, now you've joined the ranks of Tori and Liza. You're a three-peater, right?
Liza and a three-peater on the same horse, though. I got something to work on now.
Well, you got it too.
Exactly.
You got three under your.
You got it. You got it.
Any other?
I have a question for Colin. This is the first time you brought this horse to the Derby. At what point in sort of the year did you say, I think I got a Derby horse under me, or was there a benchmark in your showing?
No, actually, we did our first international Derby in Wellington. He just started doing first year then, and we tried one in the international ring. He's made for it. I mean, the horses, he wants to do it. He goes, the bigger the stage, the better he goes. And I knew it when I rode. I don't know how, but I knew it when he was 3.5. He was going to do it. He's a winner.
What's his background?
He was born in Belgium. He did the 3-year-old stallion equivalents and stuff, and then we purchased him there. I bought him, left him in Europe until he was 4. Then my client bought him, and we brought him over, and I started him in the baby greens. And I brought him all the way up, and now he's in first year, and he did the 3-6 green incentive this week, and now this.
And that's the end of the second press conference. This last little section is a quick interview I had with Hunt talking about Canyon Creek after the award ceremony.
We bought him from Emil Spadone and Kathy Cayley. They 2 years ago now. So last year he hadn't been doing hunters very long. So we started doing hunters at the beginning of the year. So this is kind of early in his hunter career. Came here, won Derby finals, and he's been wonderful. Every time we called on him, he absolutely exceeds our expectations. But to come in tonight, I'm so confident in him, and I knew he was going to try the hardest. I honestly tried not to make a mistake and let him do his thing, and he just tries so hard. He's a wonderful horse. I'm so lucky to have him. Obviously, the wheelers that own him and the whole team behind him is unbelievable.
What's he like back at the barn?
He's the sweetest horse. He has the best manners. Everyone that takes care of him absolutely adores him. KJ Pearson, our barn manager, she absolutely loves him. Maddie Tosh, my daughter, he loves pets. Got a stuffed animal in his stall. Loves treats. He's the greatest horse to be around.
So he has a stuffed animal?
Maddie has all the horses have a stuffed animal. And once again, it's another kind of superstitious thing we have. But he had it here last year to draw it out again.
Yeah, great. And just what's he like to ride? Like in terms of take a lot of legs?
He's a very tall horse. He's a little narrow body, so he doesn't feel like he's quite a tall horse. But he's very tall. He has a wonderful mouth and balance, and he's so scopy. It makes it so easy for him.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode featuring the Platinum Performance USHJA International Hunter Derby Championship. Let us know how you like this format. I also want to give a big thank you to the episode sponsor, Troxel. Learn more at www.troxelhelmets.com. You can subscribe to the Practical Horseman podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. While there, please rate and review the show. I'm Sandy Olenek, and you've been listening to the Practical Horseman podcast.